we talked a lot about as we started. I'm like, Vince, one thing that you could do is if you could reduce the amount of time you spend in getting to know the client. Most people have they meet with their client and it's it's kind of a meeting and a discovery meeting. Maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes. Vince's meeting could be 2 hours.
Yeah,
it's whatever it takes.
It's true
to discover that person.
Yeah.
But then the whole goal is to be able to really then coach them and help them, because it might be a fitness goal, but most people do fitness to improve something in their life.
Yeah.
Right? They want to get in better shape. Yes, they want to be healthier, but to do something else, to play with their kids, to be more active, to be more social, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I always say it's easy to teach a squat. It's easy to teach a bench press or an overhead press. It's easy to see a dysfunction. Or maybe it's not for some people. But really, the dysfunction usually starts with the person. And I truly do believe, and I truly live by it every day, and I have some very, very unorthodox ways of reaching people and getting them to know themselves. You mentioned something before about, people not knowing something that they have or finally discovering it. Well, when I sit down with somebody, I always tell them, you're either going to find something out about you that you already know and you didn't fix, and I'm not talking physically, or you don't know that we're going to discover and we're going to fix it together. And I think as a true coach or anything that you do, you have to be watching, you have to be observing, and you have to be studying all the time. And it's not necessarily movement, it's emotion. Because I go back to my college days, and I was a criminology major and a minor in pre-law. And I'll never forget Dr. Kelly. He came in one day, and this guy moved in like the fog. I mean, it was pretty unbelievable. He had a gray jacket on, and he was a forensics guy, and he just moved in like the fog. And he said one day, when you go to a crime scene, the evidence is there, you just didn't find it. That's how I approach coaching. There's something there about that person that they want to be better, that they want to be the best version of themselves. They just have to overcome that dysfunction that they may not even know about. And I think it's the coach's job to bring that out. And sometimes you're running a fine line, and not every coach can do it. But you're running a fine line, and you've got to get personal. You got to make them get comfortable being uncomfortable with themselves. But then you got to help them feel better and get to that next threshold. Yeah. And sometimes it's painstaking.
Yeah. I've seen more than one person emotionally as they talk to you. Yeah. But because it's real. It's because it's diving beyond that. Hey, let's make this nutritional change. Hey, let's change your caloric intake or whatever. And some of that may be obviously needed, but then there's always why did we get to this point in the beginning, right? And I think Vince does a lot of nutrition coaching with his clients as well, and I think the nutrition conversation is actually quite easy to make nutritional recommendations once you evaluate their food plan and you make those recommendations. But behind food, as we all know, there's always many emotional ties, or there's just scheduling, lifestyle ties to the food's not available, it's hard to prepare. All these different things, or maybe there's a financial limitation to.
I call it self-sabotage.
Yeah, I love this word. He taught me this, self-sabotage. I'm like, what are you talking about? So, but it is great.
Yeah, it's a lot of coaches will say that it's an excuse. Okay, call it what you want, but really what they're doing is they're self-sabotaging themselves for a host of reasons. One is they don't believe they can achieve their task. Well, it's kind of like when a person walks into a gym. They're going to give you all the reasons why they can't do something. That's their self-sabotage. It's not because they can't do it. It's because they fear they're going to look silly. They don't love themselves enough to do it. They think they're going to be made fun of, or they're going to be judged, or they think they're going to get hurt. So they're really, before they even can be successful, they're self-sabotaging themselves. And as you said, where it comes to like nutrition, it's Vince, I fed my kids this, but I only had a little bit of it. So you shouldn't have had it. It was good for you, but you're going to give it to your kids anyway, right?
Yeah.
But so it's a lot of self-sabotage, and you're right. Eating is a behavior, and that's a whole nother subject. That's not what we're here for today. But when you truly know the person, you can start cutting, like a good boxer, you can start cutting the ring off on them a little bit and get them to where they really want to be,
Yeah.
what they came for, but they were fearful as hell to get there.
Yeah. I've heard you explain it lots of times where someone will be like on the meal plan front or on the fitness front, hey, I want to lose, 10 pounds over the next few months, whatever it might be. And then you give them a meal plan and they're great Monday through Friday, right? And then
No, Monday through Thursday.
yeah, yeah, because once Friday night's in there, then you're out.
Well, Thursday night just depends if it's happy hour,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then then it's like, well, I didn't include the bottle of wine I had on Friday. Right?
Yeah.
And then you use that a lot as a self-sabotage term. Where
Always.
it's like, oh, well, I'm doing pretty good. I lost a pound, so now I deserve this. And it's just so that almost you can repeat the cycle.
Yeah.
Where if we could stay accountable and stay strict to it,
Yeah.
we could blow past this and not make it a cycle.
Well, and without getting into the whole diet industry, every diet's going to promise you that you're going to lose weight, and you will. They're just not going to promise you you're going to keep it off.
Yeah.
That's where the self-sabotage comes in.
Yeah.
Right? This is where we trade what we want the most for what we want at the moment. And that's exactly what happens when you're dealing with people. But you have to know that about the person. So every day, and I think you see this too, Tone, is I'm literally scanning the room. It's like and
So true.
and I'm just looking for people. I'm just looking to see kind of where I can touch, where I can help, and I'll walk over and say just somebody. I mean, you've seen it on the table.
Yep.
Hey, do you know you got a rubber band on your knee? Did you know that?
Yep.
That's just my way of getting to talk with them a little bit, just kind of see who they are, where they are, what they're about.